Okay, this video is going to be on how to use Makesense.ai and a set of pre-trained weights to automatically label your images. So the first thing we're going to need is to look at what's already been done and what hasn't been done. So I guess we just go through this list and we try to find a block that hasn't been done before, and then we make an empty folder that says that we're going to do this block. And then the next thing we have to do is download the images. So I chose 2109 to 2208. So I would just select the first one and then find the last one, right click and download. But I already have them downloaded. So we have them here in this images folder. And the next thing we're going to do is we need some weights so that we can try and automatically label them. And we can find those in LogNML project outputs. This is my dataset I went with. And then we'll go weights. And we got the best, and I've just downloaded them here. So I'll go ahead and put them in this folder. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to run it on the folder and get our pre-trained or our auto-labeled labels. So let's see. We'll have to give it the location of the labels. And this is called run on batch. It's down here at the bottom. And I think we can put an R in front. And I think that means it's literal. Like, I think this won't be escaped, but I guess we'll find out. Or I guess it's called raw or something. It's R for raw. Okay, and then we have to point it to the weights. So that'll be this. And we'll call it, it's called best, it's not called last. Okay, I think that's good. Alright, let's give it a run. And it failed. It's like it doesn't like this. Okay, the R didn't work, so I'm just going to use regular quotes and the double slashes. And what we also have to do is we're going to add a parameter on the end. So let's go, we're using detect.py, so let's go to detect.py. And we'll scroll down here, and we find one called save txt. So that's going to actually save our results. So we're going to have to use that. We can throw it on the end, and we should be ready to run. So we'll hit start. We'll see if it lasts 5 seconds. If it does, it's probably working. And then we'll have a look at our detect. Okay, so here are the images being generated, and here are their labels. So we'll wait for that to finish. Alright, looks like it finished. Took about a minute. And what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to grab these labels. So here they are. And this is our working directory. We'll just grab them all. Okay, we have images and labels. We're going to call this labels auto labels, I guess, just so that we don't mix them up. And we don't really need this anymore, but we'll keep it there, it's fine. Okay, so we have our images, and we have our labels. And what we're going to do now is jump onto Makesense.ai. And we're going to want to go down to the bottom right here and click on Get Started. And we can drag and drop our labels. Actually, our images. Drag that here. Found 100. We'll go Object Detection. And then our label list is empty, so we're going to have to create one. We'll call them Bunch. And you can pick a color. And we'll hit Start. So from here, you can cycle through the images. You can draw a box. And over here you can select Bunch. And now it's selected as a bunch. But what we're going to do is we're going to auto import our labels that we created. And the first thing we have to do is go in here and create a new text file. And we're going to, oh, that's a folder. And we'll call it labels. I think it has to be called labels. And in it, we got to create the names of the labels in these files, which are called bunches. So we'll just go bunch, save it, close it. And then what we can do is go to Actions, and we're going to want to import annotations. We're going to select our YOLO file, and then we're going to take all these images, including this labels.txt, and drag them in. And import. And now it's got all our labels, which is nice. Depending on how well the model does, you'll have more or less work. Okay, from here, we can start correcting the mistakes. This looks really good, so there isn't much to correct, but we'll go through it anyway. So what I like to do is minimize everything, and I even like to go full screen just to get a bit more space. And then I usually go the maximum zoom. And then you can hit Shift and the scroll wheel to go left and right. And just let go and scroll. And I sort of go back and forth, and I'll correct ones that I think are wrong. So you just click and drag, bring it in a bit closer. You do this for hours on end. So this looks like two bunches. Just try and get an idea of where they are. And I'll just create a new bunch here. And it looks like, it's hard to say what it's doing. We'll go to there, I think. Oh, and it's not selected, so I'll go in here, scroll to the bottom, select the label, bunch. There we go, that looks good. And you go for that, you go left and right, you go down, and then what I like to do is I just go to the full size image and I look for ones that maybe it missed or maybe that I missed. And normally I would zoom in, but we'll just create a bunch there. So after a quick pass to see if you got everything, head to the next one and start labeling. And then when you're finished, maybe you have 10 images or so, or maybe you want to save your progress because this won't save your progress. If you close the site, I think everything's gone. What you can do is you just go export annotations, select the YOLO format, and export. And now if you did lose your data, you could re-upload these labels and you'd be fine. Although something to note is that it exports all the labels that have check marks, so it's going to be hard to find where you're at. So what I like to do, say I've labeled up to this point, what I'll do is I'll go to labels. Actually, we'll have to go Actions, and we'll go Edit Labels, and I'll create a new one. How do I create a new one? I already forgot how to do it. Plus, there we go. And I'll call it Start. Sure, pink's fine. And then what I do is I just drag a big box, and I call it Start. And then when I import these labels, I just scroll through until I find it. And I go, okay, this is my starting point. And then you delete it. It's not deleting. There we go. And then you know where to pick up. Okay, is that everything? I think that's everything. This is an example of what the exported text files look like. Okay, I hope that was helpful.